William Byron was 5 laps away from cruising into the Daytona 500 with momentum, and in one blink, his car was destroyed. He already won this race once with a backup car. Now he has to start from the back again. Can he really pull off history and win 3 in a row? Or did his dream just go up in smoke? At just 28 years old, the Hendrick Motorsports driver has already conquered the sport's biggest stage twice. Back-to-back victories in the Daytona 500 placed him in rare company. A third straight win would place him in a category all by himself. Then came Duel 1. With 5 laps remaining in the qualifying race that helped set the field for the Daytona 500, the air was thick with tension. Cars were packed tightly together in the draft. Every driver was trying to position himself for the final push to the checkered flag. In the middle of that storm sat Byron in the number 24 Chevrolet, feeling steady and confident. He later said he felt like he was in a good spot moving forward in the middle of the pack. At Daytona, that usually means you are exactly where you want to be, not exposed at the very front, not boxed in at the very back, just close enough to strike when the opportunity appears. But Daytona does not reward comfort for long. Bubba Wallace received a push in the draft that did not line up perfectly. His car turned sideways. At nearly 200 miles per hour, sideways becomes disaster in a heartbeat. What followed was the kind of chain reaction that defines Daytona. One car spun, another checked up, a third had nowhere to go. Smoke filled the air and metal crumpled in a violent sequence. Byron was collected in the 5-car accident. Chris Buescher was also caught in the wreck. By the time the cars rolled to a stop, the front of the number 24 Chevrolet was destroyed. The primary car was finished. In NASCAR, that single sentence carries enormous weight. Teams do not casually build Daytona 500 cars. They obsess over them. Aerodynamics are refined to the smallest detail. Body panels are shaped with precision. Hours are spent in wind tunnels and simulation rooms searching for the smallest advantage. The primary car is the result of months of preparation. When that car is destroyed, the team must roll out the backup. The rules are clear. If a driver goes to a backup car after the duel races, he must start at the rear of the field for the Daytona 500. This year, the field includes 41 cars. That means Byron will take the green flag at the very back. For a driver chasing history, it is a massive setback. Yet the story refuses to be simple. Because Byron has been here before. In 2024, he wrecked in his duel race that year as well. The team unloaded the backup car for the Daytona 500. The narrative sounded similar. Momentum interrupted, questions raised, doubts whispered. He won anyway. That fact changes everything about how this setback is viewed. It is no longer an automatic disadvantage. It becomes a test that he has already passed once. Still, repeating that feat is a different challenge entirely. The Daytona 500 is unlike any other race on the NASCAR calendar. The draft compresses the field into tight packs. Drivers run inches apart for extended stretches. A single miscalculated push can wipe out half the contenders in seconds. Starting position matters because track position influences risk. The deeper you are in traffic, the more variables surround you. From the rear, Byron must navigate through layers of uncertainty. He must trust that the backup car is stable in the draft. He must rely on teammates to help him move forward. Hendrick Motorsports is one of the most powerful organizations in the sport, and drafting alliances often determine who controls lanes late in the race. The mental component may be the most important factor. Byron's reaction after the crash was calm. He did not explode in frustration. He did not assign blame. He acknowledged that he felt good about his position before the wreck and accepted the reality of what happened. That composure is a strength. Daytona punishes emotional overreaction. Drivers who force moves early often pay for it. Chasing a third straight Daytona 500 win adds pressure that few drivers have ever experienced. 2 consecutive victories already place Byron in elite territory. A third would make him the only driver in history to accomplish the feat. It would elevate his name permanently in conversations about the greatest Daytona performers of all time. No one has done it before, not Richard Petty, not Dale Earnhardt, not Jeff Gordon. The race has crowned repeat winners, but never a 3-year run of dominance. Byron entered Speed Weeks as one of the favorites, listed at plus 1,400 odds. That number reflected the confidence many observers have in his ability to navigate the chaos of superspeedway racing. His timing in the draft has been exceptional. His patience in the closing laps has been calculated. He has shown the ability to avoid trouble until it is too late for others to recover. Now he must do it from the back. The Duel wreck also reshuffled the landscape for others. Chris Buescher joins Byron in going to a backup car. Ross Chastain's team has repairs to complete. Daniel Suarez, AJ Allmendinger, Bubba Wallace, and Casey Mears all face damage concerns after the qualifying races. Each compromised car introduces another layer of unpredictability into Sunday's main event. At Daytona, unpredictability is the only constant. The early stages of the race often feel controlled. Drivers settle into rhythm, lines form along the inside and outside lanes. Teammates connect bumpers and attempt to generate runs. But tension builds with every lap. As the laps wind down, the field tightens. Aggression increases. Desperation creeps in. Byron understands that the first half of the race is about survival. Stage points matter over the course of a season, but the Daytona 500 trophy matters more. Sacrificing stage position to avoid risk can be a calculated decision. The key is remaining on the lead lap and within striking distance when the final laps arrive. From the rear, strategy becomes delicate. Charge too aggressively and you expose yourself to early incidents. Hang back too conservatively and you risk being trapped behind slower cars when the decisive moves begin. Crew chief communication will be critical. Reading air pressure changes, engine temperatures, and tire wear becomes essential when drafting tightly. The backup car itself must respond predictably in traffic. Stability in the draft is not optional at Daytona. A car that wiggles even slightly when pushed can trigger disaster. Hendrick Motorsports will spend every available hour ensuring the backup machine is as refined as possible before Sunday. There is also the psychological impact on competitors. When a two-time defending champion starts at the back, the field takes notice. Some drivers may believe it reduces his chances. Others know better. Byron has already proven he can rise from adversity at this track. He does not need to lead the most laps to win. He needs to lead the right lap. Often, at Daytona, that is the final one. The final lap at the Daytona 500 is rarely calm. It is a chess match played at extreme speed. Drivers calculate closing rates, judge side drafts, and anticipate blocks in fractions of a second. Byron has mastered that environment twice in a row. His ability to read momentum in the draft separates him from many peers. The question now is whether circumstances will allow him to reach that moment in position. 3 consecutive wins would reshape his legacy permanently. It would transform him from a talented champion into a historic outlier. Every future February broadcast would replay the sequence. Every conversation about Daytona dominance would include his name first. That weight can be heavy. Expectations can distort decision-making. But Byron's career trajectory suggests steady growth rather than emotional swings. He has matured within the Hendrick system. He communicates clearly. He rarely appears rattled. The wreck in Duel 1 is a reminder of how fragile opportunity can be at Daytona. 5 laps from finishing a qualifying race cleanly, everything changed. One imperfect push, one sideways car, one unavoidable impact. Yet the story is not finished. If anything, it has become more compelling. A smooth path to history would have been impressive. A chaotic path that requires climbing from the rear in a backup car would be unforgettable. NASCAR history often favors the dramatic. The Daytona 500 in particular thrives on unlikely twists. The field will not make it easy. 40 other drivers understand what is at stake. Preventing a 3-year reign at Daytona would be its own accomplishment. Aggression will be high. Alliances will shift. Late race restarts could reset the entire order in seconds. Byron's challenge is clear. Avoid the early wrecks. Work methodically forward. Stay patient when the draft stalls. Trust teammates when the lanes shuffle. And most importantly, be present when the decisive move must be made. He has done it before, but history rarely repeats itself cleanly. Sunday will reveal whether the backup car becomes a footnote or the centerpiece of another remarkable chapter. The Daytona 500 has always balanced preparation and chaos in equal measure. It rewards courage, but punishes recklessness. It crowns heroes while humbling favorites. William Byron's pursuit of 3 straight victories has not ended. It has simply become harder. And at Daytona, sometimes the harder road creates the most unforgettable finish.